Hi, my name is Esther. I'm here today to share with you a novel that has become a dear part of my inner anthology, and I hope you enjoy this. The title of the novel is Lila by Marilynne Robinson. It came out in 2014, and it's the third novel of what I call the Gilead series. And the first one is called Gilead, the second one is called Home, and the third is called Lila. And what's interesting about the series is there's going to be a fourth one that comes out soon. But what's interesting about these series is that it's about the same town and kind of the same situations, but each novel is from a different perspective. So it's really interesting and it brings so much with each novel. So it doesn't really matter how you read them, in which order. But if you wanted to start with Lila, that's fine. If you wanted to read the others first, that's fine. But let me tell you just a bit about this book. So Lila is a woman who, for almost all of her life, has been homeless. She was saved by someone in a bad situation as a child and was kind of taken on the road into the wild and was taught how to live life from an outsider's perspective. And so everyone that she met and she worked with and kind of went through life with was very different from what would be considered normal and accepted society. And so her language, the development of her language and her perspective and what she values is different. And so reading her perspective is so incredible. She eventually walks into the town of Gilead and meets a reverend. She walks into a church and meets a reverend named John Ames, who's much older than her. And he doesn't see her as like a wild outsider, homeless person. He sees her as someone very intriguing and lovely and someone that he can learn from. And he's mesmerized by her, and they actually soon get married. And the book talks about their marriage and the different, like just how different they both are and how they work together and how it's a bit difficult to understand each other, but how they stick together. They have a child together, a little boy, and soon after the child is born, she realizes that it really hits her that because of the age of her husband, that he's not going to be around for all of their son's childhood and for his grown-up years, and it will be up to Lila to raise this child. And how will she go about it? Will she do it in her own natural way, her own perspective? Will she try to raise the son as her husband, through his language, through his way of life? Will it be a combination of both? But how does she go about this? And there's just a small experience that is shared near the end of the book that I'd like to share with you, if that's okay, a small passage. It says, "Every day of every year they lived in Gilead, she would be remembering what happened that very day, reciting it to herself in her mind, so sometimes she could say, 'One time, when you weren't even walking, he took you fishing with him. He had his pole and creel in his hands, and you in the crook of his arm, and he went off down the road in the morning sunshine, striding along like a younger man, talking to you, laughing. He came back in an hour and set the empty creel in the basket and said, "We propped the pole and watched the dragonflies. Then we got a little tired. And what a look he gave her in the sorrow of his happiness. He might as well have said, when he is old enough to understand, tell him about the day we went fishing. So she said, you might as well be writing these things down. For coming from him, it would mean more. That was one of those days that is so mild and bright, you know you'll never see a better one. The weather was just flaunting itself. She might wait for another day like it, to tell the boy how his father couldn't wait to have a son. Because if you just say a day was fine, nobody makes much of it. This passage really impacted me. I couldn't stop thinking about it. It's been a few years and I still can't stop thinking about it. I just think it's incredible to look into someone else's perspective and to think of when you know you might lose someone or when you have lost someone. What is that like? How do you take the best of them, and especially when you feel a responsibility to pass something on or take something from someone's life and give it to someone else? Can you do that? Is that possible? And how would you navigate that, especially when it's something different from you, but it's something that you've come to really value? I think that's one of the best things about this book, is that it's about the differences in language and the differences in how things are done, yet what threads these humans together, and what is it that binds them, and what is it that helps them value the same things or come to value the same things. And there's so much in it. It's very rich, and it really makes you think about a lot. So I would recommend Lila. I hope you take it up and read through it, and I would love to know what you think. But I thank you for tuning into this and hearing a bit about why I love it, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.